What's happening, everybody? Brown's thoughts here off the Mike Sports Network. I don't even know if I have the words to come up with to describe what a win this is for the Cleveland Browns in Week 3 over the Green Bay Packers. 13-10. I'll eat it. I didn't think the Browns had a hope in hell of winning this game. Green Bay had extra time to prepare. They made the big trade for Micah Parsons. They looked really unstoppable through 2 weeks. Boat raced Detroit, handled Washington, and had an extra couple of days to prepare because they were the Thursday night game in Week 2. Browns, hey, defense looks good. But the offense can't move the ball. Joe Flacco, God bless him, he's a veteran. He looks old. This team doesn't really have a lot of hope this year. But through basically almost 3 quarters, the Browns allowed 3 points. And then they gave up a touchdown. The only touchdown they gave up in this game. To, I think, the backup or third string tight end. And then, the Browns are down 10-0. Get down the field, have a long sustained drive, finally get a field goal. And then Jordan Love throws an interception to Grant Delpit. Leads to a Quinshon Judkins touchdown. Ties the game at 10. And then the Browns special teams block a field goal. They execute a quick little move and, are able to do one of those fire drill things where they have no timeouts, throw the ball over the middle, David Njoku. They get the ball down, they spike it. And Andre Schmidt, the guy who cost them a game in Week 1, missed a field goal, missed an extra point. They lost the game by 1 point to Cincinnati in Week 1. And this guy comes out there and booms a 55-yard field goal to win against the Green Bay Packers, a team who I had in the Super Bowl. 55 yards, and the Browns win 13-10. Browns allowed 230 yards of total offense to the Packers. They didn't gain many yards, but Quinshon Judkins, their number 2, their second-round pick from Ohio State, who had some legal trouble that he had to work his way through, and he's probably still working his way through. We don't know if the NFL is going to suspend him. Looks like a winner. Mason Graham causing trouble. Myles Garrett looking like the best version of himself after a lot of people wondered why the hell he re-signed in Cleveland. This defense was flying all. Carson Schlesinger, the second-round pick, he looked great. Dylan Sampson's looked pretty good. We don't even know if Dylan Gabriel ends up, or even Shedeur Sanders ends up being the quarterback of the future. This could go down as one of the greatest draft class in Cleveland Browns history. Because the story of the season so far is 2 things. The rookies on this team finally hit. Andrew Berry did his job and did it really well. They just need to figure out the offense, and they need to figure out the quarterback position. Once they do that, this team's going to be a problem. And then the other thing is this defense is the best defense in the NFL. Through 3 weeks, the Browns are clearly the best defense in the NFL. It's not even close. If you look at yardage, they are allowing 20 yards less than the next closest defense, which is the Atlanta Falcons, who only give up 227 yards. The Browns are giving up just a shade over 200 yards a game through 3 games. Some people will say, you gave up 41 points to the Ravens. They held the Ravens to like 45 yards rushing in that game. It was special teams, and, the offense just couldn't sustain drives. And the defense tired out. The Browns willed to win, and they've been, pretty much, you could look at that Ravens game. That score was kind of deceiving. This team is flat. And a lot of people have wanted to call for Kevin Stefanski's job, which I do not understand. This was a Kevin Stefanski masterclass. Yes, offensively, it was not perfect, but they stuck around in this game. Jim Schwartz made a ton of big time moves to keep this. And then obviously special teams. We give a hard time to Bubba Ventrone, the special teams coordinator. Block kick, and then, a field goal at the end for a guy that a lot of people wanted to give up on in Andre Schmidt. A guy who cost them a game. Younghoe Koo is out on the market, a very accomplished kicker for the Falcons. He got cut this week. Browns fans wanted him. They stuck with Andre Schmidt, who got injured early in the week, was able to kicks a 55-yard field goal. The longest. This is a credit to Andrew Siciliano, the radio play-by-play man. Love Andrew. 55 yards is the longest walk-off kick in the history of the Cleveland Browns. I don't have the words. Like, this is, like, this win, like, look, this team may not win a lot of games this year. But this is the kind of win that you could look back on in, like, 5 years if they actually figure this shit out and figure out the quarterback. Where you look back and you're like, damn, that was a moment where I was like, man, I'm proud to be a Cleveland Browns fan because this team has upset me. And a lot of Browns fans alike for years with ineptitude and, you know, just poor drafting, poor coaching, and poor decision-making. And for a large chunk of this game, it looked like one of those similar Sundays. And yet, in the span of 3.5 minutes, this team came up with 13 points, including a 55-yard field goal at the gun, to beat one of the best teams in the NFL. That is not an accident. This team is going to be a problem for the rest of the year. They're going to be in games. If the offense can figure out shit, the Browns are going to win some games. I don't think they're a playoff team, but this is a building block type of win that could lead to further success. So everybody who's wanted to try and give up on Kevin Stefanski, who's wanted to try and give up on Andrew Berry, if the Browns can build off of this, though, you're gonna get really tired of those guys because they're gonna be around. Because this is the greatest run of success that the Browns organization has had. They screwed up on the quarterback. Baker Mayfield is a stud in Tampa, and good for him. He got another clutch win, led them down the field after they coughed up a lead. I miss Baker. Baker on this team, the Browns would be a Super Bowl contender. There's not a doubt in my mind. They got to get some receivers who can catch the ball too, but if they got this version of Baker now, the Browns would be a Super Bowl contender, but I don't know if that would have happened if Baker hadn't left. But, you know, the point here is I'm freaking proud of this team for, you know, not listening to dipshits like me who just want to be doom and gloom about this team. This was one of the more impressive wins that you're going to find because it would have been so easy to just be defeated, walk into that stadium with the goofy black helmets, the Alpha Dog helmets, and the Alpha Dog uniforms, and just be like, you know, hey, we got a bunch of Green Bay Packers fans. It's basically Lambeau Field Northeast. It looked like a Packers home game. Could be easy to just give up. Our offense isn't doing shit. They hung around. They only gave up 10 points through 3 quarters and then found a way. They were in position because of their defense to win a football game, and they got it done because of complementary football. That is what makes football great. When every part of this team isn't working well, you're just able to adapt and overcome to get to the end and get to the finish line. And that's what the Browns were able to do. Great drive in the fourth quarter, got a field goal, interception leads to a touchdown, and then a blocked field goal leads to a game-winning field goal. If this were 25 years ago, this would have never happened. I'm still not optimistic this year for how good the Browns can be. I don't think they're a playoff team. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC. But they're going to mess around, and they're going to make teams' lives miserable. Because you've seen it through 3 weeks. This is the best defense in the NFL. I would not, if I'm an opposing offensive coordinator, I would not want to face this defense right now. Let's not forget, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is on IR. He's not playing this year. If that guy comes back and you add that to this, holy shit. Freaking unbelievable. Credit to Kevin Stefanski. I've been critical of Andrew Berry. This draft class looks legit. Credit to Jim Schwartz. Hell, credit to Bubba Ventrone, who a lot of people have wanted to run out of town. Kicking game, you know, special teams was great. They get a block kick at the end of this thing. And it's just, again, what an incredible win for the Browns on Sunday. And we'll see if they can carry this over, because they got a couple of tough games coming up. They got to go to Detroit next week on my 36th birthday. I think they got a chance to, hang around with Detroit on a short week. Why not? They just got to figure out the offense. I don't think Dillon Gabriel is going to start, but there's a chance that he gets in there if Joe Flacco doesn't start to perform. There's momentum here. And then they go to London. And then, listen, you still also have to face the Steelers. The Steelers don't look good. They needed 5 turnovers against the New England Patriots to win the game on Sunday. There's some wins out there. I didn't think this team was going to win until October. But this might have woken up something in this team to the point where, hey, defense is playing well. If they can figure out some things offensively, and who knows, maybe that comes with a quarterback change, and you go to the young guy, and Dillon Gabriel has got experience. See what you got, man. And if it works, man, that makes it even more better. And that makes this 2025 NFL draft class look even more incredible. We'll see, man. But I am much more bullish on this team than I was 3-4 weeks ago. I was not ready to run through a wall for this team, but they figured out something. And like I said, sometimes the best wins are the ones that, you have to grind through, and you have to go into the foxhole and find your way out of it. And like I said, this was not pretty at all. 13-10, when a lot of teams are scoring a bunch of points, but the Browns are stopping teams, and they're making life miserable for teams. And when you have a strong defense like they do, you are going to be in just about any football game. They've got to just find a way to sustain some offense. So, again, this team, in my mind, is a quarterback away from being a real problem. We'll see what they do moving forward, but I was really, really pleasantly surprised and really pleased with what I saw on Sunday in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you, Cleveland Browns, for at least giving me some positivity in my existence. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.